to universe.
Wait. I think I sang myself. Maybe I don't know. I hear differently. I might have. Look, I feel like when you've had a lot of concussions, your brain is swishing around, you know. And then when you run out of swishy, there it goes. Now I sound like me. But that could go. That's why you got to make the most of it, because you never know when it's going to go, you know? Like recently I have discovered I got a hairy chest. Never had a hairy chest. Which camera am I on?
One straight in front of you.
Am I this one?
Yep, that one.
How do you... Okay. So I was like a bald kid, you know? Like I had blonde hair and I was like pretty silky smooth. And then, that's the thing because that's a good thing. When I was 18, I looked 12, which means now I'm 53 and I look like 43, depending on the day, you know? So I'm definitely younger for how long I've been here. Also, I am, what is it? What's a craft single? I'm like pasteurized.
Yeah.
Like I'm wrapped in. I'm like, you know how McDonald's French fries, you can leave them for like 10 years and they still look like McDonald's French fries.
Yeah.
That's me. Like I should look worse. Everybody from my era, my town, my age, they're not looking that good, you know? And it's wear and tear. And I was a part of the wear and tear. You know, I was one of the champs of wear and tearville. So it's pretty hard to beat me. Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee. And then Black Rifle, you can get these sweet and smooth premium coffee pouches. No nicotine, just coffee. You put it in and it fires you up. Works in a pinch. Anyway, yeah, I feel like, recently my chest hair, so my stomach hair is still normal color, but the chest hair is starting to I have white hair. I have like Santa's chest. And that's not that hot. But my girlfriend seems to think it's cool because I was going to shave it off and she was like, no, keep it. I like it. So it's sexy Santa time. I don't know what you got. I don't know. Look, you got to make the most of it. But look, at one point, I had no hair on my chest, and now I have a lot of hair, and now the top part is sexy Santa time. So, you got to embrace your times, It's like sometimes you have bad times, and they break people, That's how this thing starts, where you... people have bad times and then they run from the bad times by doing things that are bad for them, and that gives them another reason to run yet again, and then you're off. And that's the way it goes in society, We're all running. It's very rare for somebody to face things. I think there's like athletes out there and some people that are high caliber jobs that have put in a lot of work, and depending on your career choice, how long it lasts, because when the career comes to an end, that can be, again, another trigger to start running, where people will, a lot of athletes do it, because it's like they're cool, and they're the guy or they're the girl, and then they're just a person, and now they can't face the reality of just being a person, which is pretty crazy, because that's all we all are, It's a weird thing to find it difficult to face reality that you're just a guy, you're just a girl, because at the end of the day, that is what we all are. We're just people. There's nothing. I've said this a lot. It's like we're not special. But we all are. That's the thing that I have realized. I almost came to terms with, because at one point I thought I was special. And then I realized that I am, but so are you. Butterflies taste with their feet. They're special. There's millions of butterflies. Is one butterfly better than the other butterfly? It's your choice. It's kind of like some people think that certain skateboarders are better than other skateboarders. Some people think that NoFX is the best band in the world. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, nah, they're not. You know? Like Ian Finance thinks Creed is good. No, they're not. But that's my opinion. Ian thinks they're great. You could argue that Ian's a moron. Millions of people that bought Creed albums would argue that he's spot on. I just think if you had a musical race, or a musical fight, if you will, or a musical contest of sorts, and it was Metallica versus Creed, I think you'd find Creed would lose that battle. I don't know how you would equate the battle, but I'd shut up, you know? Just shut up. I think you got your one guy on the guitar, you know. No. That's not the riff song, you know.
Might as well be.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like he's like, oh yeah, Kirk, what and Kirk will be like, that's your riff, dude. Try this, you know.
I like how you made it sound like a banjo.
Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
It's a twanging turd.
By the way, you want me calling out super chats as we go?
Yeah. Shout out super chats.
Yeah. We got Thomas and Jen so far in there.
Yeah, Jen. Yeah, Thomas.
You.
Did I see Thomas the other day? I've been around, man. I think he's in Utah. But yeah, I did a show in Utah. I shot a machine gun. I did a lot. I helped kids skate. I helped a little girl learn to drop in for the first time. I sold a lot of skateboards at the skate park. I went to X Insurance. This is an insurance company that it costs more to have their insurance, but if something goes wrong, they give you the money. Crazy, right? Like, that's the thing is, yes, it's more expensive, but if your house floods, they give you the money. All the money. You know? Like, if your car, somebody steals your car, they give you the money. That's it. So it's like this whole, it's kind of sad, but it's kind of cool. It's cool they do that, but it's kind of sad that they're the only people that do that, and it's like a brag. It's like other insurance companies will argue that they don't have to give it to you. That's where we're at these days. I smell like horse right now because I went and saw my horse, and we rode for a second. We did some wheelies. We did some burnouts. We did some jump farts. We did some roly-polies. You know, we did it all. It's good to be back. It's good to be with my friend. He was incredibly excited to see me. I was incredibly excited to see him. It was very exciting.
Did I guess right? Probably needed that before the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm all right, man.
Yeah.
You know, like...
It's just good to center, you know?
Yeah, it was a good, like... He's just a good guy to hang out with. But it hasn't been that difficult because, I was in Utah for a while, and I had a new friend of mine, Brian, who works at X Insurance, who is potentially offering my girlfriend a job. And that's really exciting because maybe she would make a lot of money. There's some dudes don't like it when their partner makes more money than them. I've never had that, so I can't say it for sure, but I'm pretty sure. I'm absolutely 100% sure. If Juliet makes more money than me, I'm gonna be so pumped. Like, I will not feel insecure about that. I think it's weird when dudes feel insecure about girls making more money than them. I'm like, but it's us. We have more money now. What the problem is? It makes no sense. But I think that goes back to, little wieners. I think it's got something to do with that. Because I know that people were triggered about my little wiener thing. Super chat!
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
That's Casey said 32 days, Jace Cakes.
Man, I'm more excited about your 32 days than and I need money. That's cool, but that's what's up, man. That's what I love about this show is I was like, look, if it doesn't make any money, it's already made like $40, so in your face. But it's helping people. Jason Ellis Show 2.0 is helping people. So, every now and then if I go on a little bit of a tangent about little wiener people, it's like, I made a comment about, little thing, and people like girls that are younger, and people got mad at me, and I'm like, you're either one or the other if you're mad at that. Think about that.
It was interesting to watch everyone guess at who you said that didn't listen to the podcast because none of them got it right.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
I saw that too.
Yeah, they projected what they viewed as that.
Yeah, I'll tell you who it isn't for sure. It ain't Joe Rogan. You never seen the interview Joe does? I think Bill Burr's there, and he talks about, there's a video of a guy that grabs a sign off a girl, and he's harassing a young girl. And Joe goes, if that was my daughter, and Joe starts to boil. Like, he's like, if I was there, and Bill goes, calm down, man, calm down. Like, it's not really happening, but that's a protector, Like, Joe's a protector. I don't know Joe that well, I'm happy for his success. And has he said some things that I've seen on the internet where I was like, I don't really agree with that? Sure. That's everybody. I don't care. But is he somebody that I was referring to? Absolutely not, When it comes to, I don't, it's a weird thing that you put him there. Is the person that I was referring to, has he been on that podcast? I think so. Maybe once.
Yeah, I think one time.
Yeah. But, I don't really care, Like, I'm just pointing out that I think when you're always attacking people that are less fortunate than you, you're not the coolest person in the world. That's all, But if you want to, go for it. It's free country.
Another super chat from Jen said, your girl is rad, also beautiful. Stoked to watch you be happy. Also, thanks for helping Scott drop in.
I've helped a lot of people drop in lately. I don't know which one it is. I really have helped a lot of people do that. And that's the other thing. I went to X Insurance and I held mitts for a bunch of people that had never fought or had a couple of lessons. And it's just this thing where, it's you get caught up in being cool and having money, because if you have money, things are, it's easier. Life's easier, But helping people, I really am starting to realize, like, I do have a certain set of skills, and they make people happy, and it's cool, man. I'm very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to be able to help people learn how to box and to help people skateboard better and see the joy in their face when they learn something. And then the other big one is, sobriety, and because that's the other thing. It's like, it's not so much sobriety. It's more facing your fear, Like, I was thinking, because I knew I was going to do this show. And, a lot of people go through a lot of stuff. I think it's funny. I've always noticed this when it comes to men. When men go through relationship trial and tribulation, we tend to be gun shy to get back into the dating game. Like, no one's going to break my heart again. We get a little tough around the edges for it. Girls are a little more, that won't happen again. I'm willing to try again. I think guys kind of get a little scarred, if you will. And it goes with these are the things you got to watch out for, because these are the things that make you start to run. And when I talk about sobriety, it's not really sobriety. It's more running. It's not, you don't have to use drugs and alcohol. It's food. It's wasting time doing stuff that isn't improving your life or your day. You know, there's video games. Some people, look, you use video games sometimes, great, but if you use it in a way where you're kind of disappearing from your friends and family, then it's a problem, you know? Like, you eat a bunch of stuff that isn't good for you because it makes you feel good for a second. The quick fix that makes it worse the next day, it's the same thing, you know? The sex, addictions and love addictions. These are little things where, I because I am so well versed in these afflictions, it's made me realize that we do this. We all do this in certain ways with certain things. It's just a lot more obvious when you're you're drinking your life away or something. It's pretty apparent to everybody around you. It's like, hey man, you're losing it, But if it's Taco Bell by yourself, it's not as apparent, but it does chip away. You're not as fit. You don't fit in your pants. It makes you a little sad about the day. And you're a little sad about the day. So what do you do to make yourself feel better? You get some more Taco Bell. Sorry to bash Taco Bell, but you had it coming. But my father passed away. This is the thing that I wanted to say is my father passed away. It's been over 10 years now, mate. It's been 20. But my father passed away pedaling up a mountain because my brother was training for Supercross, and he pedaled up the top of the mountain. Said it was the hardest thing he's ever done. And then the next day, my father woke up, took my brother's bicycle, and tried to pedal up the same mountain. And he almost got to the top, and he passed away of a heart attack up at the top. Obviously, the altitude. He did have a heart condition that they hadn't figured out what it was because he didn't really tend to it or see the right doctors or whatever, for whatever reason. I think drinking and stuff like that didn't make it better. And so anyway, he passed away. And that, for me, was the beginning, really, for there was a traumatic experience that kind of blasted all traumatic experiences back into my life, where I was like, oh, because I was pretty sure that I was one of the lucky ones, like my life was pretty good. Everything kind of worked out for me. Like, sure, I didn't go to school. I didn't want to go to school, and I failed all that stuff, but I got into skateboarding, and skateboarding I was a professional athlete. So I dodged a huge bullet, and I was like, I didn't even really get an education, and I'm still making money from riding my skateboard. Like, how cool is that? And when he passed away, I didn't realize at the time, but that had really scarred me to the point where I never really told anybody this, but I could not ride a bicycle for at least 2 years. I couldn't use an exercise bike. I remember the first time, it was probably about 2 years. And I was at the gym, and I was trying to get in shape because I had got a little out of shape because I had been drinking and partying excessively. And I lived in Temecula, and I went to the gym with the mother of my children, and I was like, you got to do cardio. And they didn't have rowing machines. It was a bicycle. And I remember thinking, I don't want to get on it. I swore that I would never get on a bicycle again because the bicycle took my dad. That doesn't make any sense, But I'm just telling you that the scar of that happening scared me to simulate anything that caused him to die. And I remember the panic that I had and the how traumatic it was to pedal this exercise bike. You know, it took a long time for me to even think about doing it. And when I did do it, there was a huge war going on in my head about pedaling a bicycle, stationary bicycle, in a gym, let alone an actual bicycle, because that was what I swore that I would never do that. But I remember thinking on the bicycle that if you pedal this bike, you could get fit enough to have better cardio so that if you do have to pedal a bicycle, you'd be less inclined to have a heart attack. Because that was the other thing. My father passed away from a heart condition pedaling up a mountain. I now think that that's what's going to happen to me, to the point that in 20 years later, my 53rd birthday, I think because he died on his birthday. So I think on my birthday, on my 53rd birthday, that's when my deal runs out. It makes no sense. I'm just saying that's how scarred I was from it. For 2 years, I wouldn't ride a bicycle. When I did ride the bicycle, I had headphones on. I was trying not to cry because I was in a gym. I didn't want people to see me pedaling a bike and crying at the same time on an exercise bike. Figured that'd be a bad look. But I remember the will that I had to beat it and what it took to beat it. It was everything I had to pedal and not get off and to do whatever, I think it was 20 minutes. My heart rate going up. Still to this day, pedaling a bike with my hands on the grip at an exercise bike where it shows your heart rate, I don't like it. I don't like watching my heart rate go up. There's a trigger in it. And then, 20 years later, my 53rd birthday, I am in the mountains in altitude. Terrified. I'm terrified. My ex-wife sent me an email that day saying, I know how scared you are today, and I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. And I don't think she's a huge fan, but she's like, she knew that on that day that I would have been freaking out. So it's like these scars that we deal with and how we deal with them. It just seems easier to run. You don't even really, that's the thing. Like, you don't really stop long enough to think about it. Am I going to die at 53 because my father died at 53? No. If he died on a bicycle and I ride a bicycle, am I going to die because he died on a bicycle? No. But it hurts and it's scary, so I choose to run from it, which is what we all do. We all do it. It just depends on the scale of trauma. Like, have your father passing away? Big trauma for me. Very traumatic experience. I can't ride a bicycle for 2 years. And I remember, I think after I did that, then I pedaled a BMX, and it was like I learned to walk as a toddler. Like, I broke through the other side. I faced my fear. And looking back and telling this story, what a ridiculous fear to have. But at the time, it was legit. I was legitimately terrified. And with every time the cranks went around, I was like, you're still here. You keep going. I wanted to be fit. I wanted to stay alive for my kids. But if you pedal, you might go for your kids. And I'm like, dude, don't be silly. You can keep pushing. You can keep pedaling. You can build on your cardio. This is the thing, the gift that MMA gave me, mixed martial arts, and all the people that I was watching that were like getting fit and doing sprints and doing kettlebells and circuit training. And I was like, that's a lot of cardio. And if you build your cardio up, you are stronger when necessary. Your heart rate can take it if you practice it. It was just this initial getting fit. Maybe I'll trigger something that the doctors don't know about, and I'll die. I don't want to die. But just knowing I'll never forget the panic of pedaling. And then, like I said, 20 years later, man, 20 years later, I remember getting invited to go to the Red Bull Rampage thing. And I'm like, where's that? And they're like, it's in Utah. And I'm like, isn't that in altitude? Yeah. And then you go into a mountain to watch it. And I'm like, isn't that even higher than just normal Utah? Yeah. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. I remember telling Brianna, I was like, I don't think I need the money, but I don't think I can do it. It's like I'm being called to my end. You know, it's like on your 53rd birthday, you're going to the mountain. And there's the other thing. I thought maybe someone might make me ride a bicycle in the mountains on my 53rd birthday. You're being set up to die. I had to argue that. And because I was sober, I sat with it and was like, that is an irrational thought. But man, it would have felt way better to not go. It would have felt way better to smoke some weed, stay at sea level, and not really think about it. But instead, you know, these are these things where it's like, I had a discussion with somebody who was very angry about life. And he's a fan and was like, you know, I said something about, you know, how God puts you in situations and when you're ready, that's when the good stuff comes, or he tests you. And this person was like, if God's so cool or he's so watching or this or that, how come my friend has some sort of disease and he's going to die? And I'm like, I think religion it can be good. You know, I think when you're talking about, I'm sure Jesus was a person, but I don't, to me, and it's just to me, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but a guy, that's up in the clouds, that's watching you and helping you or teaching you a lesson, I can't know, And I think that's the thing that gets in the way for a lot of us, to accept that there is a higher power. Because when you do accept a higher power, these are the things that help me get through my day without running. It's God's plan. And I know that that's like, it sounds hypocritical because now I start to sound like I think that a dude has a plan for me. It's not a dude. It's life. Life has a plan. The universe has a plan. It could be good. It could be bad. You can't do anything about it. That's the thing that I take from it, is I am not in control, and I think we try to control things. I don't like what's happening to me. I'm going to control it by avoiding it, thinking about something else. Maybe sometimes life is trying to tell you something that you should be paying attention to. And that's the thing that I've got from this God thing, is my higher power, something bad happens. What do you need me to do? What can I do? Is there something that I can do about it? Am I avoiding something? Well, if I am, then what is it that I'm avoiding? And let me face it. Like with my father and the bicycle thing. I rode bicycles. I went to the gym. I got fitter. I made it. I made it to 53. I went to the mountain and I was in altitude and I didn't die. And I didn't use and I didn't run. And I thought about it and it scared me. I was scared. I was scared all day. But I kept going because I'm not in control. I don't call the shots. The universe calls the shots. And that's the other thing about what's going to happen is going to happen. Like we get scared about being in planes when there's turbulence, but you're okay to drive on the freeway. Have you seen people drive on the freeway? Do you know people purposely select the purchase of a vehicle called a RAV4? That person has a car and they're driving next to you. That's way more terrifying than turbulence. Why would you buy that car? Why would you listen to Creed? These are the things we should fear, not turbulence in a plane. How many planes crash? How many cars crash? You don't sit there and accept it and face it. Don't have a snack to dodge it. Don't get high to dodge it. Don't dodge anything. Face it. Move into it. And those are the things that You know, if it wasn't such a big deal, maybe I would have taken it all for granted. You know, it's the kratom thing. I talked to somebody yesterday about. They were saying that there's a thing you can do NAD. Apparently, if you do NAD intravenously, it will stop the detox, and you won't face the stuff that I went through for those 4 days. Also, it's $500 to get it, and you do it for like I think it's like 3 or 4 days. It's a lot of money. So I don't think everybody has that option. But when this person told me that, I said, I'm glad I didn't know about that, because the struggle that I went through to not use and stay in that room shaking back and forth was so scarring to me that it's so much harder for me to be interested in doing something like that. Once again, to me, just to me, God's plan, the universe's plan was, no, dude, no one's going to tell you about NAD and make you sail through this, because if you sail through this, you're more inclined to go back and waste more time. I don't have any more time to waste. All these things that I've been given in my life. You know why I don't think I've got time to waste? Because I've been on a hospital bed where they're like, you're going to die 3 times, 4 times. And I've been there with the heart monitors. I'm like, this is it, man. Like, why did I have a beef with this person? Why did I say that to that person? Man, I should call that person if I make it out and be like, hey, man, I didn't really mean it. Like, I love you. Like, it's silly stuff, you know? It's not important. You know, having beef with people, it's not important. It doesn't mean anything. Getting riled up about certain things that you see on the news or on TV, it's not important. You know, you're forgetting what's important in life, and that's having a life. Because there's people out there that don't get one. There's people, you know, you're gonna die soon. You know, all these people that have passed away this last couple of weeks, they're not here anymore, man. You know? They had their run, and now it is done. That is coming for you. Getting caught up in the smoke is just, you're wasting your life, you know? And I wouldn't know this, and I wouldn't appreciate my day like I do if I hadn't had all these scars afflict me. And also learning that when these scars happen, that I must face them. I must move into them and past them, not avoid them. Why does it scare me? Why am I angry about this? Why does that person make me mad? Why, you know, why do I care that I don't have something that someone else has? Really? Why? Is there something that I can do about it? Well, then quit your bitching and do the thing that you're supposed to do to get what you want. And if there's no way around it and you cannot have it, then accept that and move on with your life. Because no matter where you go, what you do, there's always someone out there that's got more and doing better than you. But also at the same time, no matter where you go, what you do, there's always someone out there that's got something worse than you. So you're lucky. The people that are watching this right now, if you're watching this right now, you're doing all right. You got time to watch a podcast. You know? Some people are not watching this because their loved ones are dying, or they just died. Or they don't have any money. They don't have a phone. They don't have food. You know, they're wrapped up in drugs and alcohol and I don't know, whatever it is, debt and fear, and they're crushed by life. And they're like, the last thing I need to do is watch some illustrated penis-looking guy talk about how to make it.
Got a $50 super chat from Zach.
Whoa! Zach!
Yeah.
You're cute, dude.
With a K, but we forgive him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even known. I can't. Someone said, happy fat, I'm not saying it, Friday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, chat, can we all just take a minute to congratulate Jason? 36 minutes in. Not a single curses. Not one.
Thank you.
Didn't name any illicit drugs by name. That keeps us out of trouble. We're doing great.
Thank you for recognizing that it is possible for me not to be completely offensive. Can I recommend a movie review? I mean, you can do it for Patreon, but I'm not doing it here.
For people watching, Jason is looking at his phone because you can text the show when you're a Patreon member and talk to Jason, and he'll answer you sometimes.
It's true. I need to apologize, big guy. You should apologize for calling me big guy. I hate that. I talked a ton of S-word going through divorce and drinking my dumb behind through it. I really think you are a hero to me, and I'm sorry if I was a little bit nuts at one point or two. I'm really sorry. I'll probably never hear back from you, but I want you to know I'm sorry, and you are one of my coolest guys on the planet. If you know who that is when I'm saying it to you, I forgive you. You know, I don't want to carry a grudge. Maybe I was annoying. Maybe I had it coming, you know. But that's the thing, man. You know, when I'm in my right mind, having beef with somebody, you know, like the fan that was saying something about the God thing, and I'm like, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just telling you, for me, I'm not like I got my life back. I'm like, I got a life I've never had. I'm not back. I've never been here. So I can't say I'm back. You know? Like there was a time there where I was like, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back on top. You know? I'm going to get money and everyone's going to know me and I'm going to be a big success. That's back. And now, if you offer me that, I'm not going to say no. I'm not out of my mind. But it's not what I want. It's a bonus, you know? Like, if someone was like, hey, man, I take this pill and your hair will grow back, I'll take it. That sounds cool. I'd be like, woo, woof. I'd have all different hairstyles. I would immediately get a convertible and be like, and I wear like headbands and stuff. I'd get cornrows just for like a week. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. I'll do every hairstyle. It'll be great. But it's probably never going to happen. And that's okay. You know, I can help people. Yeah. This podcast, I get DMs all the time from people like, how'd you get sober? How'd you do this? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done this. The person's got 30, 28, what, I forgot the number. This guy's sober. I had something to do with it. That's his life. He's got family. He's more together now for his family. I was a part of that. You can't beat that. Money can't beat that. Money can't buy that. You know, helping a little girl drop in a skate park where she's completely terrified and she's trying to hold her dad's hand. I was like, hey, man, let me help. And then she made it. I did that. And he watched it. She dropped in front of her dad in a big concrete bowl. I had something to do with that. That's what's important. I finally get it now. My sponsor that passed away, Jimmy, I love that dude forever, would tell me, you know, he used to own nightclubs in Miami, had all this money and all the women, and he had a chopper and all these things. And he's like, now, you know, I have like a Honda Accord and I live at a sober living and I help people get sober. And I've never been happier. And all I could think was, oh, I don't want a Honda Accord. Like, I don't know if I want to be that content. I think I kind of want to be a bit of an asshole who always needs cool stuff. And I'm not saying I'm there. I still don't want a Honda Accord. But the people that are listening right now be like, dude, I can't afford a Honda Accord. Well, right now as it stands, I probably can't afford one either, but I do already own a car that's pretty cool and it's getting decked out to the point where I'm terrified to get it back. I don't think I can go fast in it and it's 10 times faster than it was. I'm scared. What if I wear the tires out? I can't get any tires. What about the brake pads? You know? But what I'm trying to say is, you know, we get caught. There's another sign. It's another version of running. being successful is another version of running. We think success is money, is bottle service, is popularity. And I'm not saying that those are bad. If you have popularity and you use your popularity to make people's lives better, then okay. But if you're just doing it for you, those people aren't that happy, you know? That's just what I've noticed. And I think the ones that say they are happy are lying, you know? Like I think, I know, but like the Joe Rogan thing, people go, oh man, Joe Rogan verse or whatever it's called. I don't know. The guy has a club where he pays comics more than they usually get paid. Oh, but they do all this material. And I'm like, dude, if they're happy and if you are friends with him and you do shows and you make more money than you've ever made in comedy and he had something to do with it, that's pretty cool, right? So it's like there's things that he might have said or done that is annoying. Like, I don't, everybody makes mistakes, Like people do things for the wrong reasons sometimes because you get caught, you're busy, and, somebody be annoying and you say something annoying back because you're frustrated or you're tired because you're so busy. People that are parents and they're taking their kids to school and you cut them off and they're like, man, and you're like, no, man. And now you're in this weird little thing where you kind of sound like a butthole,
Got a $49.99 super chat.
Whoa! Is that for not cussing?
I think maybe the 1 cent off. Mallycraft, been through the worst right here with you. Keep that iron chin up, my friend.
That's what's up. I love you. I really do.
And the person you helped drop in that $20 from Jen, another $20 from Jen, she said, I swear you changed his mental game. I have no clue what you said to him aside from calling him a P word.
Okay, now I know who it is. It was a sarcastic B word.
Yeah.
And they knew it. Yeah.
Well, it's like, every time when you help people train, you got to give them that.
Yeah. No, I got to watch that because sometimes I do that in boxing where I'll get a little demanding, because it's almost like I really do know how to talk to people, and it's like, whoa, man. And it's like, yeah, I'm waking you up. I'm snapping you out of it because I can tell some people start thinking too much and they can't do what I'm telling them to do because they're trying to tell themselves to do it when it's like, no, shut up and listen to my voice because your voice is telling you to do the wrong thing because your voice doesn't have my training. Listen exactly what I'm saying and cut your brain out of it. Your hands listen to my voice, and it works. It just works. I don't know how to explain it for sure, but I just know it works. But yeah, man, the more I do this work, the more I don't run from things. The greatest things in life to me now is I see the beauty in other people. I will now, from time to time, take time to compliment other people for the work they're doing in their lives and for other people. And that will make that particular person feel better about themselves and then do more of whatever it was that they were doing in a more powerful way. And that's just kind of like I said, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. And I've been taken. I always take, I want. Gimme. I will have stuff and then you will love me. I understand how it works now. If I do a bunch of cool stuff, then people will act like they care about me and then I will feel loved because I didn't feel like I was loved when I was a kid. It's very sad. It's all very sad. Angry people. I'm angry. I've been angry. I've been a very angry person because anger is sadness. It's sadness. I feel sad and I turn the sadness into anger. Very angry people are the saddest people People that are always chopping down at other people are sad inside. It's an insecurity. That's why you're lashing out at others. You know why I know? I can't really read. I mean, I can now, but like I didn't read any of this. I lived it. I've done all the wrong things. And now, thanks to like really clearing it out and being completely sober, this has never, after all the times I've hit it, it's never worked better than it does right now. Part of that is sad and part of that is good because I'm 53. It could have, this could have been firing off, my skateboard career. I'm not in Tony Hawk's video game. You know why? Because I blew it, man. I blew it. Partied, did all the things for all the wrong reasons. Partied with all the other mentally scarred people. And all those other people that are mentally scarred, where are they now? If you didn't get your stuff together, you're gone or basically not here. They both are the same.
Just Chill said, this version of Ellis is so deep, I don't remember him like this at all back in the XM days. Much more relatable. Because he wasn't here. That's what I was saying before. I've never been here. I've never been me. I had an inkling that I might be a good guy, but I didn't have the paperwork to prove it. I've always kind of been about myself. He's still there, make no mistake. I still want to be cool. I still want to be successful. Like the comedy thing, I love comedy. Australia got cancelled. They cancelled it. You know why? Nobody bought a ticket. I mean, a few people, but not enough. They cancelled it. That hurt a lot. What did it hurt? Why did it hurt? It hurt my ego. I'm not successful enough to sell a lot of tickets in Australia. I'm from Australia. Australia. You don't like me? You never liked me. That's why I moved to America. The scars, they attach, they make up things that aren't real. That's what I thought. No, Australia's never liked me. You're never going to make it in Australia. America's the only place that cares about you, and Canada. It's not real. You've been in comedy for 5 years. You haven't been in Australia for 30. Nobody knows you in Australia. You have 20 videos on social media of you doing stand-up. You're not even anywhere near ready to do a special. Nobody's buying your ticket because no one knows who you are. And if they see a video, they might not even know you're from Australia. It's not really, if anything, booking me for Australia, because that was the thing when I got told, hey, do you want to go to Australia? I said, for what? And they were like, what do you mean for what? For comedy? And I was like, really? Who's asking? And he's like, they are. Well, I don't think they are. I think maybe they thought I'm from Australia. I have a lot of followers on Instagram. Surely I'm big in Australia. I'm not. And that's okay. But initially, it really hurt. It made me sad. It made me want to run. It made me want to, these days, eat a donut. Because this is how loose Jace Cakes gets. He gets a donut. And it makes it all better. And then when he wakes up in the morning, he's like, oh man, you had 2 donuts. It's not so bad. I don't feel so bad about that. But it's not that bad. I used it now. Like, to me, Australia, I didn't sell. I'm not going. I didn't sell enough tickets. I almost sold out Wise Guys in Utah last weekend. I didn't sell out, but I sold more tickets than I've ever sold before when I've done a show at Wise Guys, when I've headlined. I think it's been 3 or 4 years now. And one person from skateboarding came. Everybody else didn't come. Also, that hurt a little bit. Why? Your peers don't care. Maybe they don't think you're funny. Maybe they saw it last year and was like, I'm not going back. He sucks. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you wake up and you keep going. How can I be funnier? What can I do? How can I write some more jokes? I wrote 7 jokes on the plane the other day. I don't know if they're good or not. I got a pretty good feeling that at least 3 or 4 of them are good. And I'm going to use those. I'm going to power them up, and I'm going to start slinging them out. And I'm going to, I'm going to have like a whole bunch of stuff to use. I'm going to get better because I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to get butthurt. I'm going to get butthurt for a second, but then I'm going to get back on the horse and keep going because that's how it works. You can't dwell on it, but you do have to face it. I think that's like the biggest lesson is I think I would dwell on it and not face it. Like I'd be like, oh no, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's it. That's all I'm doing is just I hear a voice going, nobody cares. Nobody likes you. Nobody cares. Nobody likes you. And you just walk around like that all day. This is the gift and the curse, It's because it's like, how do you do varial kickflip any body jar? How do you do varial kickflip any body jar? How do you do? And you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking. You flick your board with your front foot, and then you flick it, and you go your front hand, and then you slip over to your back hand, and then you go, and then you hit your tail. You got to sight your tail. You got to make sure you sight your tail, and then you get, and then you go to the ramp and you do it because you're obsessed with it. Why am I obsessed with it? Because I love it. Comedy. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. How do I do it? How do I make it funny? How do I write another joke? How do I write, you know what? You got a lot of gay jokes. Maybe let's write a joke that doesn't involve dudes' wieners. Okay. Let's do some different stuff. Believe in doing different stuff. You're not just a wiener boy. You can do other stuff. Didn't sell tickets. Figure out how to get funnier. Figure out how to get more stuff on social media. TikTok until you don't stop. Until people buy your tickets, until you get out there and do bigger shows. And until then, keep going. Just keep going. Wake up in the morning, go to the gym, eat right, keep going. Can you help somebody? Because that's the biggest one to me, is helping people. All of a sudden, I don't care about it anymore. I help people learn how to box. I helped a child learn how to drop in. Guess what I was thinking when that child dropped in? It wasn't about anybody selling any tickets in Australia. It wasn't about Jason Ellis show is not some huge, crazy podcast that everybody's talking about, And that's like I'm in a spot now where I don't, there's certain people that could want to come on this podcast that obviously wouldn't, that if they hit me up, I would be like, nah, because I don't care about this whole big thing. I thought this podcast called the Nelk Boys or something. I thought it was the Milk Boys because Brendan Schaub has a lisp. I guess it's the Nelk Boys or something. And they're just like, they got UFC guy, whatever, Ilya punching him. I did that 20 years ago, but not tappy tap. I got Shane Khan punched my brains out of my butt. And it's like, look at these guys. And then they got the president of Israel on. I'm like, why? I don't know who that guy is. I don't care. But you don't know who you're talking to. You're getting played. They're playing you. Don't let them play you. Talk to the kids about cars or something.
Speaking of podcast guests, we haven't, I don't think on a public one yet. We haven't talked about, everybody's asking, where's Tully? And so this will be the first public explanation of what's going on with that.
Okay, so yeah, the Jason Ellis Show, the podcast, it doesn't make any money, right? Who cares? And we still do the patreon.com/EllisMate, where we do 2 Jason Ellis shows a week with Tully. The podcast, there's no point anymore. It's not working. It's never going to pick up. I think I finally came to the conclusion when I realized I was like, if Joe Rogan, for some crazy reason, was like, Jace, can I do your podcast? Which is hilariously awesome. And I go, yeah. Nobody would care. It wouldn't do any numbers. Nobody would watch it. I mean, I'm sure it would move the needle, but not in a way where we would have a sponsor, So, Tully's, he's not here all week because he's in Japan, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a dad, man. Like his wife works and he's trying to do all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm making you do another hour of show for no reason. You make zero money, zero. And it costs me money to put it on. I pay Zach. Zach's the only one who makes money from the show. And it's not a lot. it's not a great vibe. So to me, I was like, I'm going to try and do something else. The Jason Ellis Show is still a Patreon thing for subscribers. Those people are the people that care about the Jason Ellis Show. And those people pay enough money that Tully gets a check that's worth him being here. But the podcast, he makes zero money. So I was like, don't worry about it. Don't do it. I'll do it by myself. And I'll put in a different angle, a different effort where I'm a little bit more serious, where I try to help people. Because that's the thing that I've come to the conclusion of. It's, at this point, I don't care about popularity. If I can help one person, this is why I continue to do this. This is why I put my thought into it before I get on the mic, is what can I say for an hour that might help one person? And I believe in it. I believe that this episode will help one person. So that's what I'm doing. And now it doesn't make me any money, but I help one person. So it's worth it. Until he could go home with his family, you know? It's not changing anything. People that watch the podcast, I don't even know if they do, man. I feel like it's like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm done analyzing it, you know? I got to do what I believe in. I believe in doing this, sending this message. So the Jason Ellis Show on Patreon is still the Jason Ellis Show with myself and Tully and Zach. The Jason Ellis Show podcast, the name is changing. It will be Ellis 2.0. And the photo that goes up there will be just me. And the show is just about what it's about today. Making it through life, you know, with what I can tell you what not to do, you know? And that's it. That's what I have to offer. And that's how I'm going to keep it, you know? And look, if it turns around and, you know, all of a sudden everyone's like, whoa, Ellis 2.0 is the coolest thing ever. And then, you know, I don't know, some, you know, Manscaped or somebody wants to pay me $100,000, then yeah, man, bring him back. But at this point, why? You know? It's just dragging people. So yeah, he didn't die and he didn't get fired. I'm just sort of, I'm doing me on this show. You know, I really wanted to do something different anyway, you know? And this gives me an opportunity to try and do something different while still keeping the Jason Ellis Show. Like trying to have extra shows while I'm doing the other Patreon shows, while I'm doing stand-up, while I'm coaching boxing. It's just too much. You know, I'm getting burnt out. This is something new. I'm excited about it, you know? I'm excited about knowing that this helps people. I'm not saying the Jason Ellis Show doesn't help people too. I'm just saying Ellis 2.0 is directed only at that, you know? If I say something slightly funny, that's cool too, but I really am just trying to like make somebody's life easier by by being open and talking about what I've done to get where I am. Because I think that that's a quite an accomplishment, you know? To be so dark, you know? I really was going to give up, man. And I feel like a lot of us go through this. And it's like, well, how'd you do it? You know, the Kratom stuff, man. Like, I'm not going to stop with that either. It's my personal war against that. You know, it's like, you're taking Kratom. I'm not taking nothing from you, dude. I'm just saying you better watch out. You know, Andrew Huberman sent me his last episode about Kratom and had a specialist on, and he's going to come on here and we're going to talk about it, you know? So that's where that is. That's where we are. And, you know, I hope it doesn't bum anybody out too much. You know, I don't think anyone, like I said, I don't, you know, is anybody in the chat like, no, what are you suck or anything like that?
No, all those people, those are people that, you know, they come across here and there, but most of them, like, I think one person complained about the last podcast, and I just was like, you know, I got onto my personal account and answered them just to say, go look at every other comment. It's like hundreds of people thanking you. It's like, you're the one person that's like, wah, because you didn't get whatever, you know, you want Ellis to do jumping jacks with a monkey or something, you know.
I can still do that on the Patreon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a monkey.
Like, if you really care, you pay $15, you know. Does sobriety require 100%
no alcohol, or can I have a couple of drinks a year? You got to do what you got to do, all right? That's all I'm going to say when it comes to that.
Somebody shouted out the shirt too, by the way. Said they love that shirt.
Yeah. Art El Rey Art. Yeah. Yeah. He's making my new t-shirt and skateboard. So I'm excited about that to drop too. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. I hope it helps somebody. Once again, when the podcast comes out and you listen to the podcast and you need help, you can reach out to me on Instagram,
And if you miss Tully,
at Wolfmate.
If you miss Tully, join the Patreon. Low as $5 a month. Get in there. Get you some Tully.
There you go. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Don't die.